Manchester City will aim to stay within close range of Premier League leaders Arsenal when they face Newcastle United at the Etihad Stadium on Saturday, February 21st, 2026. As one of the more anticipated fixtures in the Premier League calendar, this match will be pivotal for both sides as the race for top honours heats up. This will be the fourth meeting between the two teams this season, with a fifth clash set to take place in the FA Cup fifth round next month. Manchester City have had the upper hand in previous encounters, winning 2 out of their 3 meetings. However, Newcastle United came out victorious in their most recent Premier League clash in November 2025, defeating City 2-1. Despite the results in the previous encounters, Manchester City are set to make a strong push for a win in this crucial match, especially with the current Premier League title race still wide open. However, City's plans may be disrupted by key injuries and doubts surrounding the availability of some of their most influential players. With a host of injuries to contend with, manager Pep Guardiola will need to make tactical adjustments to his squad. Injury updates: Erling Haaland. Doubt for Newcastle. Clash: Erling Haaland, the prolific striker and Manchester City's talisman, is a major doubt for the upcoming clash with Newcastle United. Haaland was notably absent from City's FA Cup squad against Salford City due to an ongoing injury concern. The Norwegian forward has been struggling with a minor issue, and while Guardiola has not given a definitive timeline for Haaland's return, there are concerns that he may not be fit in time for the Newcastle game. Haaland has been instrumental in City's attack this season, and his absence could significantly impact their ability to break down the Magpies' defence. The injury has left many wondering whether the club will have to rely on other options in attack if Haaland is unavailable. City's options in the forward position have been quite versatile this season, but the absence of Haaland, who has been one of the league's top scorers, would be a major blow to Guardiola's attacking plans. Josko Gvardiol, potential long-term absence. In further injury news, Croatian defender Josko Gvardiol's recovery from a tibial fracture suffered earlier in the year is still ongoing. Gvardiol required surgery to address the fracture, and while there have been positive signs regarding his rehabilitation, it remains uncertain whether he will return to action this season. Guardiola and the club's medical staff have been closely monitoring his recovery, but given the nature of the injury, there is a possibility that Gvardiol could miss the remainder of the 2025/2026 campaign. The absence of Gvardiol leaves a void in Manchester City's defence, especially considering the high expectations surrounding the 23-year-old's contributions to the backline. His partnership with Ruben Dias has been one of the cornerstones of City's defensive strength this season. Without Gvardiol, City may be forced to turn to other defensive options such as Nathan Ake or Manuel Akanji, but the lack of Gvardiol's presence in central defence is undoubtedly a setback for Guardiola's tactical setup. Jeremy Doku, return expected soon. On a more positive note, Jeremy Doku's injury that forced him off during Manchester City's Champions League win over Galatasaray has shown signs of improvement. The Belgian winger suffered a calf injury in the first half of the match, but is expected to return before the end of February. Doku's pace and creativity on the wings have been key to City's attacking play this season, and his return will be a welcome boost for Guardiola. Doku's dynamic style of play could provide the necessary spark for City in the crucial fixtures ahead, including the clash against Newcastle. Savinho, potential return by end of February. Another player whose return is eagerly anticipated is Brazilian winger Savinho. Savinho has missed the last 13 games due to an unspecified injury, but sources within the club have suggested that he could be back in action before the end of the month. Savinho's flair and ability to take on defenders make him a vital asset to Manchester City's squad, and his return could provide depth to the wide areas, especially as City looks to challenge both domestically and in Europe. Mateo Kovacic, long-term injury. Woes Mateo Kovacic, who has struggled with an Achilles injury since the summer, has only made 2 substitute appearances for Manchester City this season. Now the Croatian midfielder is dealing with calcification in his ankle/heel, further complicating his recovery. While Kovacic is targeting a return for the final stretch of the Premier League season, there are concerns that his injury problems could hinder his contributions in the crucial months ahead. Kovacic's ability to provide balance in midfield and his experience at the highest level will be missed, and it's unclear if he'll be fully fit to play a significant role in the closing stages of the campaign. Alain doubtful for Newcastle United. Clash defender Alain, who sustained a knock during City's FA Cup win over Salford City, is also a doubt for the upcoming fixture against Newcastle United. While the injury is not thought to be severe, there is uncertainty surrounding his fitness, and Guardiola will be keeping an eye on his recovery. Alain's absence could force Guardiola to make adjustments in the defensive lineup, especially with Gvardiol also unavailable. The injury situation in defence could place further pressure on City's backline as they look to contain the attacking threat posed by Newcastle. Suspension news: as of now, Manchester City does not have any players suspended for the upcoming fixture against Newcastle United. This is a relief for Guardiola, who will need as many of his key players available as possible to mount a successful challenge against the Magpies. Manager's thoughts ahead of the game. Pep Guardiola has been open about the challenges his team is facing with the ongoing injury crisis. Despite the setbacks, the City manager has emphasised the need for a collective effort from the squad to ensure that they can continue to compete at the highest level. With crucial matches coming up, including a potential FA Cup 5th round tie against Newcastle United, Guardiola will be counting on his players to step up in the absence of key individuals. Every player must be ready to play their part, Guardiola said in his latest press conference. Injuries are part of football, but we have a deep squad, and it's time for the others to show what they can do. We must focus on the game against Newcastle and not think too much about what we're missing. It's a big match and we need to be at our best. Newcastle United's injury concerns. Newcastle United have also been dealing with their own injury concerns, though their situation is not as dire as Manchester City's. Key players such as Bruno Guimaraes and Callum Wilson have been carrying niggling injuries, but they are expected to feature in the upcoming match. The Magpies will be hoping to build on their victory against City earlier in the season and continue their push for European qualification. What to expect from the Newcastle clash? Saturday's game is expected to be a high-intensity encounter between two teams with contrasting styles. Manchester City, despite their injury concerns, will remain the favourites for the match due to their depth and superior squad quality. However, Newcastle United will look to exploit any weaknesses and take advantage of the absences in City's lineup. With Haaland, Gvardiol and potentially Allen unavailable, Manchester City will need to dig deep to overcome the challenge posed by Eddie Howe's side. The tactical battle between Guardiola and Howe will be intriguing, with both managers known for their strategic approach to the game. Whether or not City can overcome their injury concerns and take all 3 points will be a key storyline as they look to stay in touch with Arsenal at the top of the Premier League standings. As the clock ticks towards Saturday's showdown, all eyes will be on the Etihad Stadium to see if Manchester City can continue their march toward another Premier League title despite the challenges posed by injuries to key players. Manchester City's injury concerns and tactical adjustments. With the mounting injury concerns, Pep Guardiola will have to rethink his approach in the upcoming fixture against Newcastle. While Haaland's potential absence is certainly a major blow, it may provide an opportunity for Omar Marmoush to step up and showcase his talents as a central striker. Marmoush has been in decent form and has the ability to contribute in various attacking positions. His movement and technical ability could offer City a different dynamic in attack should Haaland be unavailable. However, it's not just in attack that Guardiola faces challenges. In defence, the potential absence of both Josko Gvardiol and Alain could force Guardiola into some difficult decisions. The partnership between Ruben Dias and Gvardiol had been one of City's strongest defensive combinations this season. With Gvardiol potentially sidelined for the rest of the season, Guardiola will likely turn to Nathan Ake or Manuel Akanji to fill in at centre-back. Both Ake and Akanji have proven themselves capable, but they do not bring the same level of ball-playing ability that Gvardiol provides. Guardiola's system demands defenders who are comfortable with the ball at their feet and capable of playing out from the back. Ake, known for his solidity and pace, and Akanji, who is strong in aerial duels and reading the game, will likely need to complement Dias's leadership at the back. The absence of both Gvardiol and possibly Elaine could also lead to a more conservative approach from Guardiola, who may opt for a deeper defensive line to provide more cover for his remaining centre-backs. This could shift City's usual high-pressing, high-possession approach to something a little more cautious, at least in the early stages of the match against Newcastle. In midfield, with Mateo Kovacic still sidelined, Guardiola will have to rely heavily on the likes of Rodri and Ilkay Gundogan to drive the midfield forward and provide balance. Both players have been consistent in their contributions, but Kovacic's absence means the squad lacks an additional dynamic player who can break up opposition attacks and carry the ball forward with energy. If Haaland does miss the match, Guardiola could also deploy a more fluid attacking midfield setup with players like Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden tasked with linking up the play and providing creativity in the final third. These players are capable of unlocking defensive lines with their vision and passing range, and their combination play could make up for the lack of a traditional striker. City's depth and versatility. Despite the growing injury list, Manchester City boasts remarkable depth, which means they have more than enough quality to cope with the absences. The City squad has been constructed with versatility in mind, and while missing key players, Guardiola has a variety of tactical options to choose from. One potential solution is to shift to a false 9 system, which Guardiola has used to great effect in the past, particularly when he's missing a natural striker. This would allow players Silva or Foden to operate as attacking playmakers, drifting into central positions and allowing to stretch the defence. Another option is for Guardiola to tweak his usual formation. Instead of the typical 4-3-3, City might switch to a 4-2-3-1 or even a 3-4-3, especially if they are dealing with defensive issues and need extra cover at the back.